Hi everyone, this is Kieran from Filmstorm Studios bringing you another exciting tutorial. Today we're actually going to have a look at cutscenes and using it inside Playmaker. And we're going to need two things to start off. If I bring this over, we're going to actually be working in Maya to get some really nice camera work, and I'm going to show you how to get that camera work and bring it into Unity, because right now Unity doesn't really give you many tools to kind of give you nice cinematic workflows. So if we go back to here, this is a really good site to get animations from. If you're an Adobe subscriber, they have heaps of different ones, and I'm just going to use this zombie animation today. It's just at Mixamo.com, and they have heaps of good looping things if you don't have access to a motion capture studio. So yeah, I'm going to be using this guy. And then the second thing we're going to do is you want to download this RSCameraUI Maya script, and this will help you get really nice camera shake, and it kind of gives the camera a sense of having weight and being in the scene. And it goes through how to install everything. It's pretty simple. You just pop the script into your Maya directory, and then in your Python script editor in Maya, so you come up to, I think it's general script, and then you just pop this little bit of code into here, and then you can save it, and then it will come into this. You can make a little button, and then once you click the button, this will load the camera script. So I think they also give a video tutorial on how to get it working. But it's really good. So to get started, what we're going to do is I've downloaded the zombie file, and we're going to drag that into the scene. And you'll see it's a nice big scale for Unity. It's a nice big scale for Unity. And what we're going to do is, you'll notice when you download files from the internet, they don't actually loop properly. And there's a very simple solution for it, which you might not be aware of. So if we'll extend it to about 250, that should be long enough for our cutscene, just to give him a dramatic entrance. And we can loop it inside of Unity as well, but it's better to do it inside Maya, so that way we can actually see where the zombie is going to be going. And so what you want to do is you want to come over and find his hips file, and we want to load up our graph editor. And basically these lines kind of show where bits and pieces of his joints are moving at different X, Y, and Z parameters. And what we want to do now is just extend this until we get to the base of all of the different lines, and they won't all be selected until we get to the bottom of them all. And you want to also select these little head top parts. So just go and extend all of them until you reach the end of each section. Alrighty, I'm just going to keep clicking, so I'll cut to the end once I've expanded them all, so you're not sitting here waiting for me to click them all open. Alrighty, so I've just finished opening them all up. Oh, I missed one there. Oh, there was another one. So you just want to double check that you have them all selected. Perfect. And now you'll see we have this massive gobbledygook of lines going everywhere. And we want to come to the very last frame, and to make sure that you are, so move it out into this gray area, and then come and hit this one of the little orange line. And that will snap it back to the very last frame, so that way you know it's going to loop correctly. And then we want to come up to curves, post infinity, and cycle with offset. So that means that offset will actually continue his root motion on, so he doesn't keep resetting back to the center. So if you click that, and then we keep going, you'll notice he now loops perfectly forwardly on into the scene. So if you press play, once it gets past this red section, he's going to keep playing correctly. There we go, I'll put the textures on. So that's going to be lovely for the scene. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop down a plane, just so I can kind of reference the floor, and that way I can kind of see where I'm going to be putting the camera. And I might also put a couple of like a fake wall in the background, just so I can see what's happening. Like he might have walked in from somewhere. And that way it'll make it a bit easier to frame the shots as well. So let me just scale this guy up and pop that there. And then when we're in Unity, we can also design it a bit better and make it look a bit nicer. And then I might actually might make him actually look like he's gonna walk through it. So that'll make it a cool camera movement. We can kind of have it, might even bring it a little bit more forward. And then open it up a little bit, so that way he's gonna clip through it. Oh, don't think he did. Okay, so now what we want to do is create a camera. You'll see it's really small, so let's just scale it up. And this will be our first camera, so let's just select this guy. And so now I'm actually inside the camera. And I want to come to Attribute Editor, and I want to change the camera name to Camera Shot 1, so that way I know what shot I'm working on. And I always like putting this little box on, so that way I can see. So let's start with a around the corner movement to kind of reveal. So click the little camera and then press S, and that will set your first keyframe. And then let's just pan across. So, and then we can have it like move on a little bit more. That way we have room for when we cut. Alrighty, so now let me show you how this this little utility that we downloaded works. So what we want to do is we want to let me jump out of the camera view. We want to come into here. We want to say, I think we have to reopen it because I had it open before we created the camera. There we go. So now the camera is showing in there. So we want to click the camera, and then we want to come up here and say add or remove camera shape. And then if we come back to the camera, you'll notice there won't be anything different until we expand this, and we'll like give it a standard ride, and you'll see it's really, really shaky. Although it's probably not too shaky, but we can adjust some of these values until we get a nice movement, and then we can rein it back in. Alright, let's start again. I might just bring it in until our camera move finishes, which is at like 1 at that red line. Okay. Okay, maybe that's still a little bit too much. Let's turn down the rotation frequency. And you can really play with all of these different values to get a thing that you really like. You can get a really nice handheld motion if you're running behind someone that's running, doing parkour or something. So let's just bring these guys down, press play again. I really like the Z movement because that's a really nice feeling that you get of like the side-to-side motion as if someone would be walking next to him. So let's just bring that down. Okay, so I'm going to be quite happy with this. So now you can see we have this really nice side-to-side motion. Alrighty, so let's pop out of here. You can actually hold Shift, middle mouse button up, and that gives you all the different views, so you can then snap back to this view nice and quickly. And then you can see that it actually doesn't look like it's shaking very much, but that's because what we're going to do now is the way to get it into Unity and get that shake. So to start off with, I'm going to take these objects and I'm going to export them to Unity, so we have the background. Alright, now let's go to our project, assets, and I'm going to pop in models, and I'm going to call this one background, or BQ, I apparently called it. And let's jump into here, and now we have this. Let me get rid of this plane, and let's drag in our one. Cool, and let's make it 0, 0, 0. And if you actually want to make sure it snaps into where we had it in Maya, you can just drag it straight into here, and it'll take Maya's parameters. So now you can see we have this doorway. Let's go back to Maya, and what we're going to do is we're going to just select this guy. We're going to say export selection, and we're going to export this guy as the zombie. close that out. Okay. He's very off center, but we'll try and sort that out. We'll come and rig and humanoid him. And now you can see his animations are playing nicely. He's going very slowly. What we might actually do is we'll just, it might be better for you to just import the this file into Unity as well. Because I mean, that's the untouched file. And this one's going to loop perfectly anyway. So what we want to do for this guy, so let's just get rid of this zombie character. And let's come up to rig, change it to humanoid. Animations, the walking one's already all set up. We can actually, we can bake in a different rotation if we wanted him to move differently, but we'll sort that out. We'll fine tune it later. We'll just say apply for right now. All right, that's looking good. All right, so he's in there. Now let's create an animator for him. I'll just call this the zombie animator. And let's come up to animator. Oh, we actually want to drop the animator onto the zombie. Get to there, and then we want to drop in the walking animation. And we actually want to loop it on itself, so you can make a transition and then click it back onto the walking animation, and then that will make one animation loop indefinitely. So, oh, I need to add a camera. So let's add a camera. And just for reference, let's just turn it around and see if he's going to walk. All right, see how he's walking at that angle. So we just want to make that a little bit better. Let's just fix up his initial position. Okay, that's a bit too much. That's almost there. He's still walking a bit to the side. You'll notice what you want to do when you're doing these kind of adjustments. You want to only drag this bar up to the end. Don't go over the end, because then it will loop and then he won't get back to his starting position. You notice it snaps back to the start, and that way we can test which way he's going to be going off. So, okay, that looks like he's gonna be good. And then when you're confident with it, you can press play. Okay, still slightly, so that should do it. Okay, that should be good. Now you notice when we press play, there you go, he's gonna walk nicely forward. Okay, so what we want to do now is let's get that nice camera into Unity. So we can't just actually export the camera as it is. What we need to do is create a cube. And let's just scale it up so we can see it. And this is a cool little trick to copy this position to this position. And what we want to do is we want to select the cube first, and then control click this object, and then come up to make sure you're in the channel box, click in here, and then tab through. And you'll notice that the cube snapped to all those positions. It also took the scale as well. But now that that cube's in that position, we can just scale it back up. What we can do is we can get all of the keyframes from this guy, but first we have to bake all of the keyframes of the camera into this position. So firstly, let's come up to Shake Control, make sure you're in the Animation tab, come to Bake Animation, and we want to bake the pretty much all keyable, and let's just click Bake. That's pretty much all there is to it. And yeah, you can see this object has all of the nice keyframes in it. We also need to keyframe the shake object, so let's keyframe bake. That will give the camera the shake. And let's also, I don't think we have to worry about the camera itself, it's just these two nodes. But if you didn't download the plugin and you actually animated this camera, just the camera by itself, you'd only have to do this once and that will give you the results you need. So let's come back to here. And on the cube, now that we have this, we want to say, I think the shake first. We want to select the rotation. And we want to come up to keys, or edit keys, copy keys. And we want to say from channel box, because we want to just select these rotations, which is the camera shake. And then we just need to say copy keys. And then you'll see that we need to go to the cube and then edit keys, paste keys. Alright, so that will give us the rotations. And then we need to go to shape control. And we need to grab the X, Y, and Z. I think actually, let's grab X, Y, let's grab all of these first. Keys, copy keys. Go to the cube, paste keys, and then let's get these ones. And let's grab these guys, and yeah, that should be good. Keys, copy keys, and paste keys. Alrighty, now you see that the cube is rotating with the camera. So now what we can do is we can rename the cube, and let's just rename this guy to cam object 1. Very nice. And then let's just go file, export selection. We're going to call this cam object 1, and let's go into Unity. It's going to import that. Cool, and let's just drag the cam object out, and let's create a new animated controller for this guy. I'm going to call this the camera, and where are we? Up here, let's drag the new animator into there. All good. Now let's just drag that animation, and if we hit play, let's just see if that cube, so that cube is moving. That's good. Now what we want to do is drag the camera and make the position 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and we want to position the camera in that angle and adjust that near clip plane. So now when we press play, you notice we have this really nice animation going on. And the good thing about this, by parenting the camera underneath that object, is that we can actually offset the camera, so we can do additional movements if we need to. So let's just reduce the focal range. Very nice. So that's our first one. Since he's kind of moving off the floor, we might need to adjust his feet positioning. So let's just come into here, and you see how his feet are kind of off the floor. We can actually offset this by like 0.02, maybe a tiny bit more, 0.03. Okay, and say apply. So now when we press play, his feet should sit nicely on the floor. Look at that. Very good. Alrighty, so and then we can change this mesh renderer to off, so that way we don't get a cube shadow. Alrighty, so now let's work on our second camera, and then we can look in Playmaker of how to cut between them. Perfect. Okay, so what we want to do is let's come back to here. Let's shrink these guys down, or hide them. Just make Control H, and let's create a new camera. Let's call this camera 2, and let's look through. Oh, let's actually just scale them up just so we can see them and look through it. So if we go back to Unity, we have this this first shot where we're kind of panning across, and using that 180-degree rule, we don't want to cross pretty much this line going down using cinematography. So what we can do, we might even just do like this dramatic reveal of the guy's face about here. So let's just have a look where we want to cut it. So maybe starting, let's have a look. If we press play, that way we can kind of get a rough cutting idea. So maybe when he's moving his left or his right foot. So right about there. Okay, so let's set up a new camera. And let's start about here. So it's a completely different view. All right, so we're keyframing the camera, and let's pull it back. Maybe make it like about there, and then we'll keep pulling it back to kind of frame him about there. That might be a little bit too much. Let's just change this initial value to about here. Okay, I don't like where that starts. Let's move it to about here. Oh, that's good. He kind of lunges into frame there. And then that camera movement, the camera shake is gonna be really nice here as well. So what we can do, let's come up and turn on the camera shaker again. Make cam 2, let's add and remove the camera shake. All right, so starting around here, let's put in standard ride. Really wanna make it a bit more shaky here. Wait, definitely not that shaky. Let's just turn this guy down. Don't want to rotate it too much. Just give it a sense of very organic horror. Alright, so let's start here. I might actually just cut this one down. Where does it start? 87. Pretty much. Is it 87? We can use this good little guy to cut between the frames. It is 87. Lovely. And where's this one finish? 205, 206. So we can bring that down. Alright, so let's work on this one. It's already looking pretty good. I might just bring it down slightly. Put in a little bit of. Okay, that is seeming a little bit too much. Bring. Okay, that's looking really good. So I'm going to keep those values. So we're going to basically repeat the same processes that we did before. We're going to create a new cube, and we're going to just call this guy cam object 2. And let's firstly select that. Oh, we're going to select the cam, and then we're going to control select this. Make sure you're in channel, and then we're just going to tab through. Perfect. So we've got the position. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select the camera. We're going to go edit. We need to bake in the positions first. So let's go back to the first frame. Key bake animation. That's baked. Let's bake in the shake. Bake in the shake. Bake in the shake. Okay. And good. Oh, we actually didn't set that position on that first frame, so we want to adjust that starting position. So let's just go back and do that again. Good. So that's all there. Now what we want to do is we want to select the cam shake. Let's grab position and all of these. Edit keys, copy keys, edit keys, paste keys. And then we want to grab the second shaker and go and just grab the rotation and there. Keys, copy keys, and keys, paste keys. Cool. Now we've got the shake happening on that cube. So that's all looking good. So if we unhide this guy, we've got both cubes doing their thing now. So now we can export this cube. I'm going to say cam object 2. I always like to put the first frame and then the second frame, or the ending frame, so that way I know what the starting positions are. I actually put a underscore under that, so that way I know it's cam object 2 and then 87 to 206. Good. Alright, so now let's jump into here. We can drop in this cube. We need to probably adjust. Oh, it's actually remembered it, so that's good. It's automatically put that 87 to 206 in, and I'm just going to adjust the tape to cam object 2 and apply. Excellent. And then what we can do is we can actually create a second camera, and let's just parent it under there. Zero out all the variables. Good. And then let's rotate it in that position. It's about 180. It should be okay. And let's adjust our field of view. I think the field of view is about 50. That was what the other one was. Let's adjust the near plane. And finally, let's set up the new animator controller for this one. So it's animator or camera 2. I mean, there's so many different ways. You could actually put all of these animators, or you could put all the camera objects under one thing, but I'm just kind of doing it in the easiest way. We actually want to pop it on the box. So camera 2, we've got, here's the camera object 2, there we are. Good. So now if we adjust the depth on this one, we can make this one the primary one. Good. And then we just have to actually tell it to activate when this camera is finished. So let's create, let's just call this the camera conductor, which is our FSM to handle everything. So that's just camera conductor. Good. Alrighty, now let's set up the camera conductor state, which will cut between the two different cameras. So what we want to do first is let's just get the current state info. So this is going to grab what's playing on our animator. So let's grab that, and we're going to link that one to the first object. And we want to create a variable. I've already created one, but you just go new length, and basically this is just going to grab the length of how long that animation clip is. So let me just make length 1. We're going to grab that every frame, and basically all you want to do quickly is press play, and I'm actually grabbing that length. We need to make that one, show that one. So basically this is how long we want this state to wait for. So let's get out of here. We can turn that length one on. Let me get rid of that other one. And let's make a new wait. So this will wait for that very precise amount of time, and then we're going to say finished. And then let's make it finish to this event. And basically what we want to do is then activate the other camera. So let's activate a game object, specify this one. We're going to activate it, and so that means we have to turn it off. And we have to make this one higher than the other one. So let's make this one depth about like almost 3. So if we press play, you'll see it cuts very nicely to our guy. Very good, and that's pretty much all there is to that. You can make this script as complicated as you want. You can even do this kind of stuff. We could say camera fade in. I'm not sure if maybe let's see. It should fade depending on when that camera turns on. Yeah, so you can make like dramatic cuts and stuff, so that's something fun to play around with. You could even make it very vicious looking and make it red for the zombie theme if you wanted to do that kind of thing. So we'll play dun, dun, and you can have like fun music and stuff going on. Yeah. Alright, so all we need to do now is let's just put some of the standard image effects on our cameras. So let's jump into here, image effects, and maybe we got edge detection. We don't want edge detection. Let's put some ambient occlusion, and let's put it on high. Let's just increase this. Actually, it doesn't look like this. I didn't actually make it touch properly. Okay, let's bring that down just to make sure. Alright. And what else can we put on there? We'll make it look a bit nicer. Maybe some bloom. Optimized. Sure, why not? And then all we need to do is let's just say copy. And let's paste. And let's copy. And let's paste. So now when I press play, we should have this nice bloom coming through. And of course we can do better set decoration and stuff, but it should all be quite nice. Look at that, looks good. You could even we could do per camera depth of field. I don't know if depth of field is in the things, is it? It is. Alright, let's go focus distance. Let's bring it in. Let's put it around where the feet are. You can actually visualize it. Let's turn down the aperture. So that's there. There. And turn up the focal size. DirectX 11, near blur, sure, and let's just pump that bokeh, and let's just press play so that way we can actually visualize what's happening. So let's pause it there. You can actually see his foot's going through. We might need to fix that up if you're really worried about it. Alright, what do we got? We got about there. Alright, let's just adjust high res. Making that bokeh ridiculous. Alright. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the component because you can actually paste the values back in after. And let's do the same for the second camera. Let's paste this guy in. Cool. And let's just copy component and paste that in. And I would like to say that is done for this tutorial. So hopefully everyone learned something. It's a pretty decently long tutorial. At least that depth of field really adds something to it and gives that nice blurred out background. And of course there's plugins like Xeon. They make a really nice plugin for cinematic effects. They give grain and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you can really expand this to do whatever you want. I mean, you can really make these fields really complicated, or at least until Unity brings out a really nice cutscene editor. There's a few on the marketplace, but they all seem a bit iffy at the moment. They're really hard to get working, and still doing it this way, you can actually create the cameras in Maya, get that nice camera shape, really plan out your shots, and then bring them into Unity, and then that way you can have really nice cutscenes. So thank you everyone for watching. Hope you found this interesting. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them. But for now, this has been Kieran Oversacken for Filmstorm Studios, and I'll catch you guys next time.